Welcome to Psychic Talk with Jay and Sarah. It's great to be back with you, Jason.
Great to be here.
And this is episode 25. It's January 28th, 2026. And we have a great guest with us today. And she brings this really great mix of intuition, healing, humor, and cosmic insight. Her name is Christine West. She's an astrologer, a Reiki healer. She's also a folk artist, and she reads the tarot. She's a really interesting person. And if you've ever met her, you know that she radiates this awesome energy. She's really grounded and joyful and a lot of fun. I've only met Christine once, and you've never met her before.
No,
but she's one of those people. After I met her, I said, she's really cool. I would love to get to know her more. So,
well, have you described her? It's like you want to get to know her.
We do. So we want to welcome Christine West to our show.
Oh, I'm
it's
so
really
glad
nice
to
to
be
see
here.
you.
Thank you. It's nice to see you guys too.
Nice
Jason, this is Christine.
It's very nice to meet you, Christine.
Hello, Jason.
Looking at your bio on Instagram, I'm like, wow, you do a lot of things.
I do some stuff.
So when someone meets you for the first time, how do you describe what you do?
Oh boy. I guess I usually, most people meet me through tarot, and I love that because I pop up at a lot of markets and different places to read tarot. And then, it works very well with astrology. And so I love the way that they sort of speak a similar language. Reiki was something that I'm a bit newer to, but I had to sort of follow that all around the corner. So I went the whole 3 levels because I was like, I got to see where this goes. And so some people meet me that way, but I'm out and about a lot. So sometimes people don't even know any of those things about me.
And then you make folk art.
Oh, yes, I do. You right? And that's how you met me.
That's how I met you.
What is folk art? So, how would you describe folk art?
So I describe my folk art as it's not very serious. It's fun. It's whimsical. It's a little cockeyed and crooked, kind of like me. And so
I love that too.
Yeah. And same with my, witchcraft. And I put witchcraft on my calling card because it is sort of a me versus me reclamation. It was something that I was frightened to be called in my younger years and didn't want to identify as, but I tend to walk a sort of folk witchcraft path, which again it's not very serious. It's not very structured. It's just, mine. It's free. It's rebellious. It's nature. Yeah.
It's so nature,
folk
right?
Art, folk music, folk witchcraft. It's, there's not a lot of rules to it, and that I like.
That sounds good.
I love it. It's so organic. A few years back, you were doing a fair in Webster, and I gravitated towards your table, and you had your stuff out, and I bought something from you, which I love. But you struck me. It was you. It was your energy, your personality. And, you talk about witchcraft, and just looking at you, you're so approachable and so natural, like you said. And before you came on, Jason and I were talking about witches and that sort of persona that people have an idea of what a witch should look like or sound like and what they do. You are a great example of someone who's a true witch, just being in nature, being yourself, being genuine and offering your gifts to other people because you just love what you do so much.
Oh, thank you. That is like the highest compliment. I appreciate that. And that is what it means to me. It's sort of, again, a reclamation of the self and knowing myself and learning about myself through nature, natural gifts, and, our psyche, body, it's all connected. And so I try to honor that in walking my own walk and talking my own talk.
I love it.
You have this infectious joy about you. And I think that's what is so appealing. Like there's just goodness coming through you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's life. It should be celebrated, right? And I grew up with Mary Poppins, and my favorite part was always I love to laugh. And I carry that with me to this day. And I love to laugh. I think it is soul balm. We all need that. And, sometimes I'm a little guilty of, I don't know how crass we can be. I'm crass, but,
Go ahead.
if you're not
Bring
kind
it,
of
baby,
taking,
bring it.
yeah. Sometimes you just have to take the piss out of it. Life is deep and it is very beautiful and you can get down into those layers, but sometimes it's just, it's fun to knock the wind out of things and sort of take the piss out of it. And it makes it a little more here and real. And on my calling card, that's why I say, spiritual guidance without the bullshit, because I'm just a person and I'm flawed and I'm human and we're all here doing that flawed human thing. So I try to own that.
It's so true. And I think that makes you so attractive and accessible, right? Because you're not claiming to know it all, right? You're very, it's organic. And like you say, folk, it's like a theme, I think. And wicked folked is your calling card. Where did that come from? Wicked folked. Is there a story behind it?
I'm a Worcester girl, I'm from Worcester in New England. Wicked, right? Like it's the amplifier statement. Yeah. And so I like it as wicked folked, like it's very natural. It's very free. And then also, like wicked witch, ha 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 ha. And it sounds almost like a cuss, right? Like wicked folked.
I love it.
That's fun.
Christine, you said earlier when you were younger, the word witchcraft. And even today for me, I sometimes hear that word and I'm like, it can be interpreted as derogatory and things like that. And I always look at witches as wise, as the ones with wisdom. So hearing you is wonderful because it's taking away a lot of the mystique that people might hesitate to visiting. The Oogie Boogie or whatever's associated with it, which, they derogatory things with that word. So I'm glad that other people can meet you and, see that we're just regular people, we just have gifts.
Regular people.
That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tend to, I grew up Catholic in Worcester and some people say that New England, like Catholic is a different version of Catholicism, strict, but also there was a lot of, I grew up in an Italian neighborhood. So there was a lot of sort of superstition, that permeated into that space and place. But a lot of the things I was interested in were taboo and, don't look around that corner. Don't ask questions. I have a lot of questions. I don't just trust what's in front of me. That gets me in trouble a lot, but it serves me well, and so the, witch and hearing that word and having it thrown at me in a derogatory way in younger years. Again, we sort of come back to ourselves as we mature and get older and we wonder, why am I walking around doing these things for other people when I could be living my own life? And so sometimes now, and it's not a dig, but when I hear, Christian, that group, I tend to think, those are kind of the bad guys. And not that to take anybody's faith away from them, but we get these blanket, rules and it's sort of oppressive. And especially as it finds its way into laws and policies, I'm like, why? Maybe they could take some wisdom from the witches.
Well, yeah. You bring up such a great point because even if you break down their holy books and you really look at it, a lot of their stuff is prophesized and a lot of their stuff is divination and a lot of their stuff was told by a prophet, which means witchcraft runs through it all. It's just worded in a way. So it's very strange when you really look at it.
There's a lot of mysticism in Catholicism. That was kind of my favorite part, was the incense censer and the holy water. And there's a lot of
and the candles,
the candles, the cup, the chalice. There's a lot of mysticism in that. And of course, the wise men that brought the gifts, they were following the North Star. That's astrology. It was prophesied through the stars.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And not to take anybody's faith away from them, but it's funny how in my own world that turned from, witches being taboo, the Oogie Boogie and the bad. And now a lot of times people will walk by my tarot table and like take, don't look over there to their children because like I'm the bad guy.
Oh my goodness.
And that's
Oh,
okay.
it's like the bad guy just wants to help you heal. Here's my herbs and tinctures,
But
and
those
know,
kids are going to come back to it,
yeah.
because a lot of the kids that are coming in now and growing up are going to reject religion and the mainstream ideologies and be more into nature and herbalism and natural healing and divination too, and communicating with the divine. I mean, what could be evil about that? But that's
On your
another
own,
story, right?
straight
Yeah.
without
Yes.
a middleman.
That's right.
Like-
That's right. That's
Without
right.
the salesman.
without the salesman. And I do think our curiosities and the things that we are drawn to as children are telling, it's part of our sort of
Yes.
blueprint, and you see it in your birth charts, and you see it, I think in people's energies and aura. And so there's something to that. So yeah, whenever there's a kid being sort of, I'm like, they'll be back on their own time.
They'll come back to it. That's right. That's right.
Oh.
So speaking of astrology and tarot, of course, when did you start and how did you come into it? Was it just like, did you just naturally start as a child, or was there a moment when it was an aha moment that this is what you wanted to do?
It was kind of a long road to come back to myself in those ways, because again, I grew up Catholic. I never made my confirmation. It was sort of important to my family. And so I was going through the motions for them. And, I liked church. I liked, I love Jesus, it's, I just kind of dig them all, but having this sort of one way, I was like, I'll go through the motions. It's important to mom. And my parents are divorced. And after they got divorced, the church treated my mom a little different. And so she was like, well, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. And so I never made my confirmation. And I was always in the, there weren't a lot of witch shops, but anytime there was sort of an artsy window, something cool, eclectic, I was drawn to that. And, we grew up in a time of bookstores. There were more independent bookstores. And so I was always in the sort of spiritual, new age, metaphysical section. And Scott Cunningham, Magical Herbalism, I think was one of the first books I bought. And I was a teenager, maybe 12 to 14-ish area.
Wow.
And I loved it. I was in my own little inner turmoil, though, between, God and this dangerous area.
Yes. Yes.
And so I kept it on that sort of, well, herbs are from the earth and that can't be bad, right? And so I didn't see as much danger there, but always drawn to tarot and astrology. You remember they would have the little scrolls at like the gas stations in the corner stores? I would save my pennies and get my little scroll of horoscopes. Yes. And
beautiful.
Then through teenage years, you sort of go through that whole what's cool, what's in vogue, what's not. And I grew up in I was young in the 90s. And so it was kind of in vogue. And we would, had my girlfriends and we would do witchcraft, but it wasn't really real. We were going through these motions. It was fun. It's exploring. And young professional Christine, I've been practicing the secretarial arts for like 20 years. I started to work right out of high school, and I had a lot of business mentors that I looked up to. They were, smart and grounded and stable in business, and they sort of poo-pooed the woo-woo. And so I was like, I don't want to be stupid, So I kind of betrayed myself in those years because I wanted to be serious and taken seriously in my profession. And so I sort of backburnered a lot of that, but dabbled in philosophy and stuff that was more,
respectable.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
But there's a lot of mysticism there too. And so I kind of always kept finding myself coming back to this world, this realm. And I love Manly P. Hall. And I read the Secret Teachings of All Ages. And then I was just like, what am I doing? Not honoring this part of myself. And so secretly and quietly, I would dabble in, and astrology. I was like, I'm going to learn how to speak that language, because I really was called to it and drawn to it. So I really took up serious study, I would say, in 2018, 2019, and just have hit the ground running. And I think, like most things, again, our curiosity is what we're drawn to. It's like inherent in us. And so,
Yes.
though there was a learning curve and it's a language, there was a familiarity to those glyphs, those symbols, that language. And I was like, oh, it makes sense. It lands. And so
Yeah.
I still
It
study
was
it.
speaking to you on a deep level. I just, I don't want to interrupt
go
you,
ahead.
Jason,
Yeah.
but I just have to say something, Christine, which is wild. Manly P. Hall, Secret Teachings of the Ages, is holding up my light behind my computer right now. That book.
That's
It's
true.
a thick one. Yeah.
It's a thick one. I needed some height, and that's the
Yes.
book, and I have it on my desk. I love that book. It
So
really resonates with my soul too. But Jason,
Well,
it's here.
I
You
just
want to-
want to say, Christine, two things that you just pointed out was you described astrology as a language, and when you were young, you were just naturally drawn to these things. It wasn't even, nobody showed you. It just is there, which shows it's innate in you. And I love how you described it as a language, and you brought up the mainstream, how they poo-pooed it, get away from it. It's not anything that's going to serve you. But yet you describe it as a language, which means, great, people speak Spanish, German, Portuguese, whatever the languages are, but do they speak astrology? Do they speak the language of the tarot? Those are very rich languages. So I'd love to hear more about the astrology language. I'm fascinated by that.
especially if you're using it in conjunction with the tarot. How does that work?
Well, I guess it depends. I offer my services sort of separately if you wanted just Reiki, just tarot, just astrology. It's like a never-ending wormhole, right? So I still look
Yes.
at my birth chart and I'm like, wow, what does it mean? Like I know, but I don't know. You never can know it all. And so we're constantly exploring your birth chart, just like ourselves. We evolve. So there are so many lenses that you can use in astrology and modalities to progress the birth chart, or just tuning into the outer planets, or just where the moon is, like it's every little bit has so much to offer and uncover. And so that is part of the challenge, the language, and trying to speak it to somebody that is interested, but doesn't have all of that foundation, so that's where taking the piss out of it really comes to my benefit. Yeah, to put it into a way that
The most
somebody
common,
can understand.
understandable language. Mhm.
And so
That's a gift in and of itself.
it is.
Don't you think
and
that's a
it's an
gift?
honor to have somebody sort of looking at a snapshot of their soul and affirming to them, like, no, you're not crazy. You're in a Pluto transit right now, or what have you.
Oh.
So when we scheduled this episode for you to be a guest on our show, you picked today's date because you said it was auspicious. Do you want to speak to that? What's going on?
Sure. So it's 2026 is kind of a busy astrological year.
Yeah.
When I was looking at the dates for this week, we have the moon in Gemini today. And I said, oh, that's nice. That's good for communication and keeping it light and happy. Exact moments on Monday and Tuesday. Not that they're good or bad, or they're just bigger. So if there was going to be, say, a mechanical or electronic failure, it might happen on those days rather than today. Also, just mental clarity, things flowing. The Neptune actually moved into the sign of Aries on Monday. That's a big astrological happening. Those outer planets move really slowly. And so he'll be there, I think, for like 14 years. And that kind of shifts things. And I don't know if you guys were feeling, I think intensity is an individual experience. And so depending on your own charts and what's happening in your lives, you may or may not notice that. But it's something I'm aware of, but I don't sort of transit chase because you'll drive. There's so many. There's so much to look after. But yesterday I was like, oh, why am I feeling so woo? And I said, oh yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot happening.
Yes.
And yesterday we had Mars squaring Pluto, and that's sort of an intense. That I think that was the big feeling. I was like, oh, I'm so angry.
I was
Interesting.
feeling it. I was feeling it.
I felt the intensity too,
Yeah.
but you seem to
Wow.
really have
I did.
a big feeling.
Yeah. So this is good to know.
And again, in your own chart, I could look at that and say, oh, these areas might be feeling most affected. But in general, all of us are under this sky. And Mars, the planet of war, and it's a bit ego, but he's kind of how we fight, And Pluto, our fears, our shame, and our power, having this square it adds tension. And so I think that was just sort of like, I picture like the Parmesan cheese getting grated over your plate, right? So it's just like this Pluto Maz Pam coming down on us. And it was a lot. It's intense. Today we have a lot of trines. It's a very lovely day. So if you are feeling a little more airy in free, Moon in Gemini, it's a little like mischievous trickster for our emotions and well-being and sort of day-to-day tasks. So plus it's Wednesday. Wednesday's ruled by Mercury, and that's associated with Gemini. So I was like, oh, today's the day.
Good day for communication.
Wow.
Good
This
day for
makes sense.
Awesome. That's so cool. That's
Just
so
described
cool.
yesterday and today.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
That's pretty good.
I always say, oh, it has to, like, there has to be something to it because it affects all of us in different ways, but there are these themes. And that is, I think astrology has this beautiful connection to collective and individual, and it is all related, always interconnecting.
Well, it's interesting, Christine, because, a lay person or someone who doesn't know the language, if they sat with you, they could benefit so greatly navigating when to do business, when to do things. Because had I sat with you and you told me last week, listen, this day is going to be like this, I would have been forewarned and I would have been able to navigate that day better instead of just, why do I feel this way? And even today, as you describe, the energy, that's exactly how I feel. And if I had come to you, I would know when to move. I would know, okay, I'm putting business off till this day today. So I love the language that it coincides with the reality.
So true. So true. And it does speak to tarot, and there are people that really get into that. Every degree deacon of astrology has an association with tarot deck. I keep it more loosey-goosey because it's a lot to remember.
Sure.
Just one of them on their own is a lot to remember, tarot and astrology, but my goodness, how they interrelate with each other.
I do like to look at, like, say, the card of the year. Like this year is a 10 or a 1. So we're looking at Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. And so those themes can play. So even just having that little tidbit, it says, oh, okay, very faded year, but I have the power to sort of wield it and do with it what I want and what I desire. The fates are on your side, right? If you've been doing your homework. If you haven't been doing your homework, it might be kind of a struggle.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
Because right. Because we've had so many different shifts going on since 2012, especially astrologically speaking, and just so much has happened in the world too, that it really does call us to do all that inner work. And if we don't, we'd feel left behind, and we've got a lot of catching up to do. Do you have a favorite? Do you prefer astrology to the tarot, or do you love them equally? Do you do one more than the other?
I'd say I love them equally. I don't know that I do one more than the other, but so if I'm having a meltdown, right, I'm riding the struggle bus, I'm going to look at my birth chart. I'm going to look at the transits. I'm going to see what's going on there. And I'm also going to pull some cards on it. But if you work with tarot, you might know, or even like a pendulum, sort of anything. Anytime we are frazzled and we're demanding answers, we rarely get that, right?
Right?
True.
Yeah, our emotions get in the way.
Yes,
right?
yes. So usually I tell seekers clients, I don't have answers for you. I'm not likely to tell you anything you don't already know, but
Mm,
it can be very helpful to have a different perspective and a different lens put on that situation,
mm,
or even just have
mm.
your feelings sort of affirmed by somebody else, an
Yeah,
external
yeah,
external voice.
Yes.
true.
Um,
Hmm.
so sometimes tarot, when I'm riding the struggle bus, is not the best tool for me. I also find it
Mm,
hard to read for myself. Um,
mm,
but I still use it and utilize it and sort of take it as a data point.
mm.
Um, when I am riding the struggle bus, I find the Reiki and the energy work to really be probably the most beneficial because it's just a grounding. And I think everybody does energy work. You don't need a certificate or anyone to tell you. When you sit down and you take 3 good breaths, there's a shift and
Mm,
a change, and everyone has access to that.
mm.
I,
That's
I
well
I
said.
think that was well said
Yeah.
too, because when we're caught up in a glitch cycle, like you're saying on the struggle bus,
Mm.
we don't need to tax our mind any more than it already is with trying to figure something out through the cards or what have you. We just need to close our eyes and breathe and do something for our body to get grounded.
I like how you said it's accessible to anybody, which again, taking the salesman out of all venues is the right thing to do. New age, all of them, so it's really self empowering.
No, it's true. That's my view on it. And I don't want anybody else's responsibility. I don't want to be the authority in anybody else's life. I try to surrender
Well,
my own.
Understood. Understood.
I think that in this realm that we find ourselves in as spiritual practitioners, a lot of people would come to us and want all the answers and maybe want to surrender some of the work, right? Like
Mm,
just pass it off to you, like help me, do it for me. But the thing is, we have to all do it for ourselves.
mm,
Just
Absolutely.
you're saying that you're a guide along the way, like a
Yeah.
lamppost,
I
mm,
always
right?
joke
mm.
that like I'm like the doorman. I'll help you find your keys and I'll hold the door open for you, but it's on you to walk through the threshold, baby.
I like that.
I love that
That's
too.
great.
I love that too.
Mm.
Um, do you have a favorite deck?
I tend to work with the Rider Waite Smith.
Oh yeah.
It's the sort of
I
OG.
like that you're including Smith.
You got to. Yeah, yeah. What would it be without Miss Pamela Coleman? Who reads the little white book, right? We look at the pictures. I don't ever use the Thoth deck, Thoth, but it's beautiful. It
Mm.
doesn't speak to me the same way.
Right.
And um I do play with some other, themed decks, but they all sort of
Mm,
are along the Rider Waite Smith line.
mm.
And some oracles. My oracle collection is growing. I used to be sort of hesitant, but if it speaks to me, I'll work with it.
That sounds great. I like how Christine's saying the Rider Waite line is the
Rider
line
Waite
she
Smith, you mean?
Smith line is the line she follows as opposed to the Crawley line. No, it's
No,
wonderful.
because it's more of the light,
Yeah.
and they can get a little dark. Some of those other decks,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I think everything has, it's both and always, I think.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
admire, Aleister Crowley, and he really, he went hard in the paint, and I
Mm.
admire that. But I don't know. I think there's just a lot of distortion there, and so it doesn't land with me as easily. I think most people, think they're in the right. Most people are operating from that place, but that's why I
Mm.
always try to bring it back to the self. A lot of people will sit with me with questions for other people in their lives. And I always say, well, I'm going to bring it back to you. You're the person in
Mm.
front of me. And so, it's tempting and I think a bit easier to carry somebody else's struggle, but you got to bring it back to you. So if you're focused on
Mm.
them, you might be seeing your situation on them and ignoring it for
Mm.
yourself. And so I will usually try to bring it back to that. But yeah, we're
Mm.
all just fumbling through it, right?
Mm.
It,
Hopefully having a good time
Mm.
doing it.
yeah. It's always easier to try to fix somebody else, right, than to
Oh
fix
yeah,
ourselves, or
for
blame
sure.
someone else for our issues, and always, direct it towards that other person. People are afraid of going too deep. Some people are, anyway.
Yeah, yeah. It's a scary, it's scary inside.
Mm.
But that's where all the gems are, those dark
That's
corners.
right.
There's a lot of wisdom hiding in there.
And that's how you grow, when you get in there and you shine a light on it.
It's so true. It's so
Mm.
true. And I would say when I started to get an understanding of that astrology language, I also was working with tarot, and I really wanted to understand that language more. And so that's what
Mm.
I mean. They work in tandem a lot with me. I'm always trying to deepen um, into that and learn how they intertwine and interconnect, because it is a
Mm.
never ending black hole,
Mm.
wormhole.
Jason, I'm sure you can speak to that, because Jason's been reading the cards for ever and ever and ever. How Christine infuses astrology
Mm.
into her readings, I think is really, really
So
fascinating. And now I
it's
want a
awesome.
reading from you.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's like two languages working together to create one. You don't miss a beat with that.
Thank you.
And
Thank
the
you.
folk art, I'm not diverse in it, but are they like talismans? Are they things that you create to help people? Like, talk more about your folk art. Too
Sure. Thank
much.
you. Thank you. It is something that I've been feeling called to, because it is very grounding. Sometimes when
Mm.
we're in
Mm-hmm.
that mental space, there's a lot of ideas, and it is an outlet, to be able to hands on. It's sort of meditative in its own, but talismans is a really
Mm.
good way of looking at it, or amulets. So when Sarah saw me at the market that I was at, I had
Mm.
these like wood burned discs. I have one actually, sort of
Hmm.
similar. And so it's just
Oh,
my own little weird art.
oh, that's cool.
It's awesome.
That's really neat.
Thank you,
Wow.
thank you. I'm a fan of the Ouroboros. I don't know how to say it. I'm from Worcester. I don't say anything quite right.
We understand you.
It's not particularly something that would, make its way to a museum, but it's meaningful to me. And if you're in the know, you're in the know. You're drawn to it. You go,
Yeah.
oh, I would like that to be
Mm.
in my space. And some of the other ones that I've done, I've inlaid crystal chips, like the constellations. So
Oh,
if you're a
oh,
Capricorn, it's the constellation, and I would have the sigils for the planet and the sign.
oh, that's so cool.
Well, thank you, thank
I'm
you.
thinking already gifts. This is great.
Can you, for our listeners, can you explain what a sigil is and how you
Mm.
might create one?
Oh,
Mm.
sure, sure. So uh, I say sigil glyph, and it's sort of like a symbol. But when
Mm.
you really want to make a working sigil, and there are different ways of doing it. You take a word, right? Like confidence. I want to be more confident. And you sort of,
Mm.
you write it out, and you cross out all the vowels, and then you're left with the consonants, right? And then
Mm.
you cross out any duplicate letters. So then you're down to just these few letters, and you can just rework those lines into a little doohickey, a little symbol,
Mm.
and
Mm.
You make it
and
sound so
charge it.
easy.
Right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then you can kind of charge that with that intention to confidence. And then you can just write it, burn it, have it with you, whatever works for you. That's why I say folk, because it's whatever works for you, whatever's the most meaning
Mm.
that
Mm.
permeates your subconscious is really what's going to make it work.
If someone listening has never experienced any readings or sigils or anything, what you're saying is somebody could come to you and want more confidence, or want more money, or want more health, or whatever the situation is. And by creating these sigils, it transfers some of that vibrational support to them, is what I'm hearing, and helps in their space to raise that vibration. And I'm thinking of certain people that I know what kind of sigil they would need, so I could come to you and say, hey, I might want this or that. That's great.
I would share with you that information. I think it's more meaningful for you to make the sigil, or that individual.
Back to, well, you got to do the work, right? Yeah.
Well, with that being said, and you've got so much to offer, do you teach classes?
So I do. I am the like the hesitant teacher, but I do. Are you guys familiar with the Holistic Wellness Collective, Sir Thrive Wellness, and Honeywell Holistics? They're located in Charlton, Mass. now, but I think Sir
Oh,
Thrive Wellness was in Sturbridge for a bit. Is that where you
okay.
guys are, right? Sturbridge.
I haven't heard of
I've
them.
heard of it, but
I
I
haven't.
have yet to check them out, and that's on my to-do list.
So they have this sort of combined space now in Charlton, Mass. So the Holistic Wellness Collective, I've been doing some events there. I do a moon meetup, and it's very, very open. Again, because that astrology language can be a little heady for a lot of people. So people
Mm.
that say, oh yeah, I'm interested in astrology, but then I don't want to like talk at somebody and it's a lecture and kind of like Snoresville. So the moon meetup tends to be a little more light. And the last one, we talked about tools. So tarot, pendulums, and what people
Mm.
might like to work with. So I don't have like a set routine class, but I'm always willing
Mm.
to chat with folks. And I try to make myself accessible through some of those events.
That's awesome.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and
Mm.
I'm definitely going to check it out. I'd like to
Oh
go to
yeah.
one of your meetups.
Oh,
Mm.
thank you. Yeah, I'd love to have you there. And again, yeah, that I want people to get some information out of it, but also we brew tea based on the current sort of energy astrology. They have
Wow.
loose leaf herbs, and we kind of chit chat. It's a place for people to connect and for people to meet their community also. You know, it's not just about me. I
Mm.
mean, I'm happy to be the spokesman, but
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You're deflecting attention off yourself.
yeah, yes, exactly. hesitant teacher, but again, I'm always happy to share. I just never being an authority is an odd feeling.
It's like you have the awareness, the innate awareness that everybody has it within them to achieve it themselves, and you want to help them along. I like how you said you're like the doorman, the
Yeah.
doorkeeper or something.
Yes, I love that. The doorkeeper. I like that better. Yeah.
So, are you learning anything new now? Are you on any type of a journey to understanding something deeper or an offering?
Always. I love to learn.
Right.
Voracious,
It never ends.
voracious learner. It never ends. And so through Reiki, maybe not even through Reiki, but I've always been interested in the breath work, and that's connection to nervous system, body, and tuning in my psychic antenna, right? And I think that all of that supports, that sort of end goal of clearing the channel.
Mm.
I am really interested in fascia. Have you guys heard of like your inner
Yes.
waters and the
What?
fascia system?
I'm new to that. What is fascia?
Like this membrane or sort of sticky web, right? And it holds our inner waters. So a lot of times in tarot, I'll talk to people about your inner waters and the moon and how it pulls on
Huh.
us, but it quite literally supports your muscles and your bones. And so
Wow.
there's that physical aspect to it that is science and legit. And then there's also this sort of woo-woo aspect, which is also, I think, science and legit, but they're sort of bridging the gap between them. And so
Oh.
not just for the physical recovery, but for the flow of your waters, it supports your nervous system, but also your actual body functions. And it,
And this is breath work that is
yeah,
reaching fascia.
through like breath work is a lot of how you tune that fascia.
What's now when you say breath work? How would you describe that?
Again, not an authority on it, a forever student, but
Mhm.
there are a lot of different, I would say, schools or modalities to achieve that. But I think anytime that you are present and mindful in that breath and breathing deeply into like your diaphragm, right? Because we all tend to sort of be chesty, shallow breathers.
Right.
No wonder
right.
we're all, in survival mode. So slowing it down and really taking
Okay.
deep, mindful breaths, it sort of shuts out a lot of the chatter. And we are electromagnetic beings, right? And so it attunes our force field. And the earth has that core, that electromagnetic core, and it sort of puts everything in coherence, is like that key word in breath work, fascia, and that bioelectric, right? Yeah.
Bioelectric field.
Right. It's like the coherence. So you're
Mm-hmm.
sort of strengthening that.
What have you noticed in your life since you've taken on breath work more seriously? Have you noticed changes in your world?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, for one, the sense of calming down and being able to bring in calm when there are a lot of external temptations or triggers to lose that calm. It's a very easy way. You know, you hear it all the time, come back to the breath, come back to the breath. There's a reason they say it in yoga and in meditation, you know, because it does bring you right back to this present moment. It's now, right now is all we have, right? That breath, that is the life, right? And so that calmness, but also I do notice when I am in a dedicated routine practice, which, again, being the folk lady, routines are not my jam. Consistency is tough for me. But any little way to fit it in, I notice that my, that I keep saying, you know, my psychic channel, that sort of antenna seems to clarify, and really the distortion is eliminated. And so I'm able to tune in and deliver people messages, but also kind of tend to myself and support myself in the best possible way.
I'm curious, Christine, and I'm sure our listeners will be too, if you have any predictions for 2026 as an astrologer or as a psychic, or any messages for the audience.
Sure.
Anything?
So I put notes together because I said, oh, they might ask me this. With a lot of those outer planets shifting, some people tend to ignore. I like the outer planets. I'm sort of a nerd for them. So we have Neptune already moved into Aries. Saturn and Neptune are going to meet up in Aries February 20th. Jay, that's going to be another day that you want to be mindful.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. February 20th.
So you just need to stay home and stay quiet.
Yeah.
It's a really great day for spiritual gifts, actually. And Saturn is sort of bringing them down to reality. But Saturn is like the laws and the rules, and Neptune is like the great dissolver. So there's a little bit of animosity between those two different sides. And so feeling out of sorts on that day, very likely.
Got it.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. And what is feeling out of sorts, you might have a new perspective on it. And like me with my confirmation, or really my mom with my confirmation, being like, you know, it's not that important to me. Why am I fighting so hard for this thing? We also have Uranus is going to move into Gemini in April. And Jupiter will move into Leo in June. And then I think it's like mid to end July. A lot of them are all going to be at the same 4-degree point. So 4 degrees in their own respective signs, but that means they're all sort of conversating. There's some harmonics going on between them in different ways. And again, I think it always comes back to the individual. Whatever's going on in your chart, if you have points at 4 degrees, you might feel it more intensely than Sarah if she doesn't have any placements at 4 degrees. Now, we all have 4 degrees Aries in our chart somewhere. There just might not be anything hanging out there, but you might still feel it. Aries is about the individual, the self. And so I think there will be a lot of epiphanies and realizations, both for individuals and the sort of collective reality that we live in. For better and for worse. You know, sometimes it gets worse before it gets better because, again, Neptune, we have to dissolve away what we were maybe leaning on as a crutch, and it wasn't giving us the ability to work that muscle, you know?
Okay, that makes sense.
We might lose the crutch and feel a little wobbly on that tender wound, but it's not going to get better if we don't work it out, right? So it's like being in physical therapy. It's going to be a little painful, but you're not going to get that mobility back if you're not working that joint, right? And then, of course, every year we have our sets of eclipses and the nodes. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that aspect of astrology. They're very mystical. That's that Ouroboros kind of. So north and south node, tail and head of the dragon. This year, we move from north node in Pisces and south node in Virgo. I think it's in July-ish they're going to move, and the nodes move backwards. They're not an actual physical point, but it's like a mathematical point where the moon and the earth, it's like got to do with the ecliptic. See, this is where it gets heady and weird, but it's a point in the sky based on the mathematics of the sort of cosmos. And in July, the north node will move into Aquarius and the south node into Leo. And so we have a shift in this collective destiny that we're working with. And it's going to bring it more to the collective humanitarian nature, maybe stepping away a bit from the individual ego and more into the collective humanitarian effort. But we have to be good individuals to show up for the collective. So all that Aries influence reminds us that it's not selfish to care for the self. It's like the airplane thing, right? You have to put the mask on yourself before you can put it on the baby because you're no good to anybody dead.
Right.
I love your plain way of describing things. Because what you're saying is the collective isn't just going to naturally heal itself and unify, right? It takes us as individuals to come together to unify the collective. So I think that's a great message.
And when was that? Did you say July?
I believe it's like mid to end July.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I'm gonna write that down.
So I always will tell people, it's we're a collective, but you sort of have to mind your own coherence, right? So if we're being good individuals, we're maintaining our own energy, and that ripple is making good connections instead of bad waves, right? Chaos waves. So not so much of a prediction, but just some, tidbits.
No, that's
just an overview for the year. I guess that was more what I was looking for rather than a prediction, just to let us know what's happening, what to expect, so that we can prepare ourselves.
Do you do any other work like mediumship? What are your thoughts there?
I love it. Accidental medium, I would say. I have always had very vivid dreams, and I have a lot of like dead people visit me in my dreams, but it's not like I'm not like, hey grandma, come and hang tonight. They just show up when they show up,
Right. They're funny like that. You
They're
can't
funny
just call
like
them
that. Right. So I would say it's something innate and it's there, but I have never really worked on tuning that in. I'm not resistant to it. It just feels like it's I let them come when they come.
You're not pursuing the direction, so to speak, right? Because you've got lots of other areas of interest in that realm.
Well, it's like that universal word psychic it covers so many departments. It's mediumship, astrology, tarot. It's like a real good psychic will cover the gambit of a jack of all trades, not necessarily a master of this particular one. So I love that you're sharing the psychic nature that you have with us.
Yeah. That was a scary sort of title to claim also, psychic.
Yes.
It feels like it's very other, somebody else, but when you start looking at that's tracking things was big for me. And it's really nice to have somebody say, oh, your reading, it was so accurate, or it was so right. Who doesn't love to hear they're right? But I always have to sort of relinquish that too.
True.
I'm just the channel, you know what I mean?
That's right. I love it.
Line.
Yeah.
If you could give everyone listening a small daily ritual, what would it be?
I guess it's sort of tropey, but it's because it's true or works, I would say, is to sort of wake up with that gratitude, take those 3 good breaths first thing in the morning and just be so thankful that you got to wake up. That is the jackpot lottery ticket. We get to be here. It doesn't always feel like it. Everyone's got their struggles, but I always give thanks for my struggles because I'm happy they're mine. They're tailor-made for me in a lot of ways. I tailored them and I don't want anybody else's. Like, I don't want to trade with anybody else. I'm happy with mine.
That's awesome.
My aunt's in school. She teaches little kids and she always says, you get what you get and you don't get upset. And I like that.
I like that a lot.
It's acceptance of what is and staying in the moment. And I think it's beautiful, a beautiful message to give to people, to just wake up with gratitude and take a few deep breaths and just look forward to the day ahead and what it's going to bring with the most positive attitude possible. Right?
Yeah. And the surrender, like this is whatever finds you that
Yes.
day. It's on your plate, right? You get what you get. You don't get upset. You tend to it.
You get what you get and you don't get upset.
I like that. That's
You got to remember that, Jason.
I do.
Yeah.
It sounds like I need to sit with Christine.
Well, that's Auntie
Get an
Annie. Thank you, Auntie
overview.
Annie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Auntie Annie. Yeah. Oh.
So if someone wanted to have a reading with you or experience one of those events that you put on, what do you call them?
Oh, the moon meets, little
Moon
moon
meets.
meets in Charlton.
Moon
Yeah.
meets.
Yeah.
So how would they get in touch with you?
Instagram,
I mean, I can put them in touch with you,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Please
Or-
do. And so
but Instagram, is that your main?
that's the main platform. Yep. I'm most active there and I share my events there. I do have a newsletter, like I send out an email. I used to do those more often and I'm trying to get back into it without burning myself out,
Yeah. Yes.
But Instagram is generally the best way. And I do have a booking site where it's through my link and there are appointments people can fill in. I think it only goes out 14 days. I didn't want to go more than 14 days because who knows where I'll be.
Yes. You're
I like
really
that
staying
freedom,
in the moment.
Christine West or Wicked Folked. I think I'm Wicked_Folked. I should know
Okay.
that. I'm bad at marketing.
Listen, I'm gonna help with that.
We'll
I'll
help.
put it in the podcast, the information, the description will have your contact information, how to find you,
Oh,
a link to
thank you.
Instagram.
Yeah.
So, and a beautiful picture of you too.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I got to say, this has been
Yeah.
an
It's been a pleasure.
awesome conversation.
Yeah.
You are wonderful.
Yeah.
You are
ditto. You
wonderful.
guys are great.
It's
Yeah, and
yeah.
I could talk to you for hours, and I look forward to getting to know you better. I have a feeling that this is a good relationship we're just starting here.
Same. I would love to hang out with you guys. And I was like, oh, I would love to book readings with you guys. And I think that would be a lot of fun. Maybe we can do a swap or even
Something like that.
have a fun gathering sometime.
Oh, that sounds like a blast.
Sounds like a plan.
We'd love to do it. And
yeah.
for our listeners who are local, we're in Sturbridge, Mass. And so you're local to us. And if anybody is local, they might want to go to one of those moon meets in the center of Charlton at, what is that business called again? Honey?
Holistic Wellness Collective. And it is Jen from Honeywell Holistics and Crystal from Sir Thrive Wellness. And they both do beautiful work and they sort of have this shared space, which is the collective, and great for community events.
Nice.
That sounds
Nice.
really good.
I'll put a link to them as well in the description. So again, a real pleasure. Thank you so much for being a guest on Psychic Talk with Jay and Sarah. Christine, you are a beautiful person, and I am excited to get to know you. Thank you again.
And it's very nice to meet you, Christina. And thank you for taking the boogeyman out of this. For those that are listening that might have reservations on witchcraft or any of these things.
She's wicked cool.
Yeah. I love it.
Wicked cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. It has been an absolute pleasure to meet you both. And I look forward to hanging out more.